Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Omar Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Emilio in Tennessee here to talk some Packers, talk a little draft. We may have a special guest joining us in a second. So if we're hitting on some Packer news, we may just shift gears right into some James Pierce Jr. talk as we're trying to get Dave Hooker from Off the Hook Sports in here to talk a little UT Volunteers with us. I know they've got several players, I think 3 different players in the top 100, Dylan Samson, Omar, Norman-Lott. Of course, everybody's talked about Dante Johnson late in the draft, the physical freak there. And, of course, we're going to try to get a scoop on James Pierce Jr. and see from a guy who covers UT sports, is there something, there of substance in terms of being concerned, hey, is this guy could be potentially, trouble for the Packers. I know the Packers obviously already have him in the top 30 visit, so we'll see how that goes. But how we doing, gents? How's everybody's day?
Good, man. Good to be here. We got Excelio in the house.
Tim, I'm glad to be here, man. I catching up on the pod last night. Today with the landscape job, forgot to get the back shoulder of the arm, little sunburnt there, but beautiful, 80 degrees. I mean, it was gorgeous today. Nice breeze.
Yeah, you guys getting 80s. You're getting 80s down there, huh? I like it.
Like he said, that we had 15 to 20 mile an hour winds today. It was just glorious. It was, It was like oceanfront property in Arizona. You know what I'm saying, Tim? It's just absolutely perfect. So let's do this. Let's get started with a little Packers news. And again, if Dave jumps in here, we'll immediately shift gears and make sure we respect his time and get some of that information about James Pierce Jr. So Easton Butler tweeted this out. The Packers re-signed tight end John Fitzpatrick per a source. Now, you guys know John Fitzpatrick kind of surprised me last year. And I don't know, maybe you guys disagree, but him stepping in for Ben Simmons and kind of, I think it was that playoff game, right, that he played over Ben Simmons. They deactivated Ben Simmons and actually activated John Fitzpatrick. So when John Fitzpatrick was kind of let go, they let him walk, that's where I started getting a little bit concerned about the tight end room. Like, hey, we probably need to add a body or two. Bringing John Fitzpatrick back doesn't mean he's going to be a lock for the roster, but you feel a lot better about not having to go get another tight end with depth if you're worried about Luke Musgrave staying healthy, obviously. So I want to get your all's take on John Fitzpatrick. I think it's extremely valuable bringing somebody back that obviously understands the system and they trusted quite a bit last year.
Yeah. Thank you for the applause, Tim, because a dude that kind of puts in the work, right? He was real quiet, but, we needed him out there when Tucker wasn't getting, the looks, or we needed to bring in a blocking guy. He wasn't afraid to step in, just put his head down and worked. I really liked the kid. I'm glad we brought him back in. You got to give him a shot, make the team on special teams if you can, and go from there.
Yeah. Like you said, depth, right? Depth at the tight end group. And there was a lot to like about what he put on tape last year in the limited reps that we saw him out there. And other than, of course, missing the block on the opening kickoff against the Eagles and,
right.
Keyshawn getting blown up, we all remember that play. But, we're not going to judge him by one missed block. He's a blue-collar tight end. He fits in really well with this group. And like Clayton said, gives us depth, makes us, not have to take a tight end in this draft. It'd be nice to grab one, but we don't have to. And, seeing this today, made me happy for real. I mean, Fitzpatrick was a dog last year for sure.
Definitely. All right. So Drew D in the chat says Fitzpatrick creates a baseline for competition at least. Yeah. And someone who knows the playbook, right? Yeah. I can't remember one time last year it was like, mental mistake by Fitzpatrick. It just seemed like it clicked. He picked it up, no problem. And obviously he was a dude that, if I remember correctly, had a pretty good RAS similar to Ben Sims. Obviously they like those physical tight ends. Prince in the chat says 6 tight ends now signed, ready for OTAs. Yes, sir. Greg Rice says, can he block? He can block. I remember last year there was a play. I can't remember which game it was, but we did it on Chalk Talk, and I'm sure we'll uncover it as we're re-uploading all the Chalk Talks into the Patreon group. But, man, there was a play where he kind of came off, sealed the edge, and he smacked a backer right in the mouth. And I was like, oh, okay. Hello, Fitzpatrick. Like that, I feel like that's probably his specialty. To be honest with you, he's kind of a gritty player, you know.
But you're right. Knowing the playbook and still being able to block on top of that, that's huge. Guy came from Georgia, so he knows that fundament, you know, that mentality that Goody loves and that Matt loves too. So perfect guy to bring in.
Definitely. Fred McFarley asks, is Jacob stuck at the checkout at Aldi? He may be. He may be at the Aldi right now. So
yeah, he probably order.
Breaking news. Jacob is stuck at the checkout at Aldi.
Exactly. All right, let's do this. We got another little bit of news earlier today as Easton Butler had tweeted out the Packers are hosting linebacker/safety Isaiah Simmons on a visit today. Simmons was the 8th overall pick in 2020. This is the perfect example of how these GMs, what they like to do, guys, is if they had a high grade on a player and they become free agents, they go sign them thinking, hey, we think we could get the best out of him potentially. Now, he hasn't been signed yet, and I'm not sold on him being signed, to be quite honest with you. But anytime you've got a grade, a third round or higher on a player, or lower, however you want to say it, I think higher is the proper way of saying it. Third, maybe a second round grade on it. I'm sure they did see, and he went 8th overall. You want to take a look at him and see what maybe went wrong. Now, in terms of what he's done in the league, it hasn't been pretty. Starting in 2020 at 59.9, then a 51.0, 67.9, 68.9. So those 2 years pretty solid. And then, of course, last year only 181 snaps and grade out of 45.6. So what you see was him peak in 2021 with the snaps at 1,005. And it's just tapered down every year since. So I'm not expecting any all-world improvement here if Isaiah Simmons is signed, But we'll kind of keep our eye on it for sure. If they do pick him up, it's probably going to be one of those guys like, hey, come in, compete for a camp spot. I'd say there would be minimal guarantee where you could cut him. Now if he comes in and says, hey, I want $3 or $4 million a year with 50% of that guaranteed, I could see Goody being a little bit. I think we're okay. But what do y'all think about that, man?
I would file this in the doing your due diligence category, like we talked about last week with Goody. I mean, this is competition with Christian Welch, at the linebacker position, and I don't think there's too much to read into right now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and everybody in the chat is saying a special teams grade looks good, and here in 2024, we get that Jacob comment off the screen there. 88.2 last year, special teams grade. Looks like he had 146 snaps, went down from 224 the year before, but still a 75.4. So it looks like he has kind of made his hay on special teams. So that's a good there in the chat for sure. So listen, I will never, after that debacle we had a few years ago on special teams, I will never discredit special teams again. I'm always going, hey, if you can make it better, please, for the love of God. So anything else on Isaiah Simmons here, boys, before we move on?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad pickup. Like you said, he had a decent grade on him, you would think. Bring him in. What did he do well in Arizona that first year would be my question. Why was he doing pretty decent that first year, his rookie year out, and let's go from there. I think that'd be the way to go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Looks like we got Dave joining us here in just a second. We'll let him get settled in and wait for a thumbs up. He may be on his phone, as a matter of fact. Let me see if he's ready. I know he's a very busy man, way busier than us. We're good to go. All right, so joining us now, man, this is a special honor to have Mr. Dave Hooker from Off the Hook Sports here on YouTube, covers the UT Volunteers. Dave, I can't thank you enough for carving out a little bit of time for us tonight, sir. How you doing?
Oh, glad to do it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I know this. We could talk about Nico if you wanted to, right? That seems to be the talking point all across the country right now. But I wanted to get your take on a couple other players. Maybe we'll wrap up with a little Nico talk as college football landscape seems to be changing really, really quick, right? And I don't know if we like it or love it or hate it or somewhere in between, but it's definitely a different feeling. But let me ask you a couple questions about James Pierce Jr., if you don't mind. Dave, I know you guys covered him extensively at UT. We talked about him the offseason leading into this year. He was one of these guys that it seems like every year, man, this guy's going to be a stud NFL player. He's a heck of a player off the edge. He plays with speed. He's long. He's got reach, all the things that scouts look for. And then all of a sudden, like it happens every year, a player just starts to sink out of sight on the boards, right? And he's all the way down now. If I remember correctly, as we dive in here, let me get the consensus big board up just as a quick reminder. When you look into the big board here and where he's at, he's now all the way down to 31 according to Mock Draft Database. So the big thing I think that's hurting him, Dave, is it seems like some people think there are personal issues, character issues. And we know this time of year, man, it's lying season. It just seems like every year people find anything they can, and most of the time it's teams interested in a prospect. I want to get your take on James Pierce Jr., if you don't mind, sir.
Well, I'll go back to what we reported in the summer, and I think that, I know that he had a serious personal issue to deal with through no fault of his own. I've not gone into the details of that, but it's pretty traumatic. So I understood why he maybe didn't hit the ground running, so to speak. Although I think that his play, he's at 7 sacks. I think his play is also determined by what Tennessee does defensively. And a lot of times he was dropping into coverage, or he was playing the run more so than rush the passer. So that was a little odd to me, the way they used him. And then the only knock I have on James Pierce, and this is a Dave the reporter knock, this is not a Billy Bob I'm a fan knock. They don't care, but he doesn't talk to the media at all, and didn't the whole time he was on Tennessee's campus. And his first media interviews, to my knowledge, were at the Combine, where he tried to repair that image, which I don't even think should be that solely, to be honest with you. But listen, if a guy doesn't want to talk to the media, that's fine. I mean, a lot of people don't. I didn't like public speaking when I was in college, so I get that. So that's the only knock. If these, you're right, these anonymous people, they always have guys dropping because they want them to fall to them.
Right.
And I think James Pierce, as long as he's healthy and good from the neck up, and I believe he will be after what he went through last year, I think he'll be a very good pro. But you're right, he's gotten knocked a lot. These character issues, though, are nothing that I'm familiar with at all.
Got it. And you hit the nail on the head, and that's the reason I wanted to get you on here. I watch your show all the time, love the content you put out over there on YouTube. And, as I'm diving in, it's like, okay, which scout said it? Oh, we don't have a name. Okay, what team was the scout with? Oh, we don't have a team. It's just everything is anonymous, and that's where I'm going. All right, let's till we get something of substantial. It's, I don't know, man. I have a hard time with it. I really do. So I'm sitting here going, man, if he's on the board at 23, take him, because I think he's a stud. And like you had mentioned, they had that position, I believe they call it Leo, if I remember correctly, where he's kind of dropping into coverage and playing a little hybrid. You put him, just blazing off the edge in an NFL defense, I think he would be just fine for sure. So I'm glad you said it. And I told everybody last night, I have not prepped Dave and saying, hey, I think there's nothing wrong. I want to get your real honest take on it. And it seems like we're in the same place. So that's exciting for me for sure. So a couple other players, how much time you got? You got a few minutes here, Dave?
Yeah, lay it on me.
All right. So a couple other players that are in the top 100 when it comes to the UT Volunteers, obviously running back Dylan Samson. How do you feel about Dylan Samson coming out of Tennessee? I think he's in the 89 spot right now on the consensus big board.
Well, you're about to hear a reoccurring theme from me, and that is I think a lot of these guys are going to be really good values on the draft weekend. Pierce is one because I think he's slipped because of his supposed character issues. I think Dylan Sampson's one that's probably slipping because of his size and the fact that running backs, as you guys know more than I, are not very highly valued at the NFL level. So I think he's a guy that can come in and play. I think he'll have, depending on health, 6-7 good years, a very solid player. Don't discount him because of the height. Tennessee has had tailbacks before. Travis Stevens rings a bell going way back in the day. I got Scott Wells, center, actually blocked for him. I believe he blocked for you guys for quite a number of years. So, But I go back to Travis Stevens. I think Dylan Samson has the ability to put his foot in the ground and change direction immediately, and I think he's dedicated to the hole, and I think that he'll be a very good tailback whoever picks him up. I have trouble thinking that he's going to be whether two elite backs probably over the past 10 years. Saquon would be one. I don't think he's going to be of that ilk, but I think he's going to be a solid tailback. Nice.
Good stuff. And another guy that's really fascinating to me is Omar Norman-Lott. When you look at some of the metrics of him coming out at interior defensive line, and maybe he moved around the line a little bit more. You may have more detail on that than I do, but he's in the 81 spot currently. There were some metrics that had him as one of the top 3 interior defensive linemen coming out of UT. What do you think about Omar Norman-Lott? We may have lost Dave. I think we froze up here.
I think we did.
Yeah, we'll try to get him back on here in a second. So I'll take him off the screen. He would not like to be frozen there. So maybe he can join us again here in a second.
He was thinking of all those positive things to say about Omar and Norman-Lott.
Exactly. He's still thinking. What did y'all think about what he said about James Pierce Jr.? I mean, is that not pretty much spot on with what we've said? And I was going to pull up some of the quotes. And matter of fact, let me just read a couple of them before we get Dave back here, if he is able to jump back on. Some scouts are worried about the guy. I was at a game, and the guy was just a complete lone ranger by himself on the sideline, standing 20 yards from anybody on his team. Didn't look like he cared at all. Claims he was a captain and a leader and all that stuff, but he's just one of those things. He might have just been anointed that versus earning it. So when I heard that, I immediately go, Tim, this is how I react. I go, which game? I'd love to go watch the tape. Yeah. Oh, we don't have a game. Got okay. Got it. Convenient.
We lost the all-22 for that one, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah. We misplaced that footage. You know, it's funny because one of the PFF write-ups, I thought it was very interesting how it pointed out the fact that he had kind of a lower snap count compared to most due to Tennessee's hockey-like defensive lines that they would rotate throughout games. Now,
where have we heard that?
Where have we heard that before, right? Does that sound familiar to anyone? So, I mean, when you look at James Pierce Jr., man, there's a lot to consider, but I do think he'd be a great fit here in Green Bay for sure. Whether that's 23, 54, wherever, trade back, trade up, you know, if they got their sights on him, I think he'd be a decent pick, and I think he'd fit in Halfley's system.
Yeah, and look at the chart here, Emilio. Look at how there's no more football that had been played, right? He went from 13th down to 31st.
Yep. You saw that. I mean, in March, it was like in March, first day of March, they were like, you know what? You know who we're going to bring down this month is James Pierce. And hopefully by draft, he's in the second round. You know, and I mean, a guy like that, like you said, where's that tape? Let's see it. I mean, a guy that I work with in Knoxville, he goes some of the games with Bruce up in the box and met the family. Like, the dude seems like a genuine guy, like like Dave was saying, something off the field he didn't have any control over. All right, that happens. Like, life happens, right? Everyone's got to go through something, to get to where you are. I really don't see why we're going to be digging on this guy when we found other instances of things going on in this draft where you actually have a little bit of meat on the bone where you can actually go back and search that. I think that's, we do need to put a little face to the name here.
Yeah. Now let's go on to the next comment, and credit to Ryan Schlipp who sent these over to me. This was a part of Bob McGinn's article, and you guys know I've been pretty vocal about how I feel about it. Me and Ryan, I think we're on opposite ends of the spectrum there, and that's totally cool. I think that makes for great conversation. It also makes for a great study, like to get both sides of, hey, he's worried about these things. I don't want to speak for him. I'm looking at him going, okay, where's the sources? I'm not as concerned. So the truth probably somewhere in between. But here's another comment. There's some concerns on his character, said a third scout. A lot of emotional outbursts and inconsistency. And then it went on to say he's not quite Von Miller, but might be that type of player, I think, for the Bills, what they said. So, again.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Spot on drop right there, Tim, because give me a dude that's emotional, right? Give me a guy that's going to, that's the other thing. Another comment that was made was one teammate said he's very intense. He's very intense in the locker room, right? And it's like, good.
Yeah. Like, does he play defense?
Right. Yeah.
You want your defense to be intense? Let's go.
You want these guys to go out there and play with their piss hots, right? So there's another one with nothing substantial that we can go fact check, right? Here's the last one here. At Tennessee, he was literally a no-go. And this is what I wanted to ask Dave about. I hate that he got cut off there. He was literally a no-go. You ask somebody there, hey, if you had a chance to come to the league, would you bring this guy? They're like, absolutely not. On his own program, the whole team's working out and he's in his apartment. They didn't know where he was. So now, again, what did Dave did you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Dave just say there was a personal issue that he's not going to talk about?
Off the field, yep.
Off the field, and he also said it wasn't Pierce's fault.
Right.
No fault of his own. That's what he said.
So again, this is a guy, his primary occupation is covering the University of Tennessee Volunteers. So, I'm somewhat ignorant in the whole topic because I haven't followed the Vols as close as I probably should with them being right here in my backyard. But here we go. It is perfect. Dave's coming back on right now. Let's get him back on here real quick. We'll give him a second to get settled in.
Yeah, you got me?
I got you, buddy. Sorry about that. It's probably on our end, I'm sure, man.
When did phones reboot before we did live radio calls? Yeah.
Welcome to 2025, Dave. Welcome to 2025.
Yeah. Seems to be every time I'm in the middle of something like this. Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
We're talking about Omar Norman-Lott. Probably a little bit undersized. I like him a lot with the right system. He's not a Vince Wilfork type of guy. He's not going to take up 2 blockers, but he's a rip and tear up the middle type of defensive tackle that really surprised me last year and may still have his best football ahead of him.
Gotcha. And it looks like right now they've got him on the consensus big board in the 81 spot. He peaked at 58. And we were just continuing the James Pierce Jr. Conversation as you got cut off there. And it's why he literally went from 13, James Pierce Jr. did, from 13 all the way down to 31. And there's been no football played at all. It's just absolutely mind-boggling.
Well, yeah, and he was 1, according to Pro Football Focus, overall last summer. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he was considered the top prospect heading into the college football season last year by Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Okay, so the other one we want to ask your opinion on here. This is one that most Packer fans, I think, are excited about. It's Dante Thornton. Now, he's currently in the 152 spot, but boy, it sounds like he tested really, really well at the combine and just a physical freak. When you look at some of his numbers, you correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of feels like he maybe had lack of opportunity, and I don't know if that was the system he was in, the offense. It doesn't sound like the offense ran through Dante Thornton right there at wide receiver. What do you think about him? Because, again, he's someone that some people were saying anywhere from the 3rd to 7th round type player.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's really solid. I think there have been injury issues that you hope he's not that always hurt guy. He's a long guy. He is able to you would think physically to catch some jump balls, but Tennessee didn't do that as much with him as I would have thought they would have. He's streaky. He's fast, as you saw in the combine. Those numbers don't surprise me at all. I think he was really a victim of a bad quarterback, Joe Milton, 2 years ago. He was a product of that, and Tennessee couldn't figure out their receivers. He's not probably – and then last year, I think they struggled to find themselves because they had issues at offensive tackle. So I think he's more a result of that, those numbers that you read off. But I do think he's a very solid receiver. I don't think he's going to be your 1 as far as a guy that's going out there and dictating coverage. But if you're looking for a second receiver that can stretch the field, I think he's a great fit.
Awesome. Hey, right now, that sounds great, to be honest. Because our field stretcher is Christian Watson. It looks like he's going to be out till November with that ACL he had late in the year. So that's why I think a lot of Packer fans are looking at Dante Thornton like, hey, this guy might be a late round gem, So before we let you go, and I appreciate you jumping back on, we really appreciate it. Nico Iamaleava, man, I'm a big college football fan. I like to follow along and this new NIL situation that's emerged. I want to say this. I don't know how you feel, but kudos to Josh Heupel from my perspective on the way he handled it. Like, hey, look, we're moving forward. I want to get your take on it with Nico. I heard you, and I'm trying to think Calhoun guy on your show, Caleb, talking about him the other night, and I seen the videos. I lived in Knoxville for 6 years, so I seen the videos of the jerseys getting burnt and this and that. He bounced out. Emilio in the upper right, he lives down in Maryville, so we're somewhat familiar here. I'm in the Johnson City area. But what do you think about this whole Nico situation down there in Ball Country?
Wow. I think the 2 people least responsible for this issue is probably Nico and Josh Heupel. I think he's got a lot of handlers that are pretending to be agents. I mean, you guys deal with real agents. It's not just something you go to night school for. So I think they floated out there on Thursday that he was in contract negotiations. I think he felt like somebody with UT or their managing company, it's called Spire Sports, one of the 2 leaked out there had been an ongoing negotiation about his contract, his money, what he's getting paid NIL-wise. And then, so I think Nico felt like his hand was forced a little bit. Friday, didn't go to practice. And from my understanding, he told Tennessee's offensive coordinator, because Josh Heupel was not able to get a hold of him, he told Josh Heupel on Friday night, which became news Saturday morning, that they were moving on without him. So I don't know who quit first or who left, who divorced who first. I'm not sure. I think it was probably Nico, but I don't even think it was really Nico. I think it was his handlers. And I feel bad for the young man because everything I've heard about him personally, he's a stand-up guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's just a great individual, maybe a little immature, but this is a situation where he's probably going to go to another school, let's say probably a notch down, because I would consider Tennessee to be one of the top 20 or so jobs in the nation, football programs in the nation, 2025.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to take a step down. He's probably not going to make any more money because the spring transfer portal, I don't know that he's going to find somebody that's going to pay him upwards of $2.5 million, which is what he was making at Tennessee. So I think the Iamaleava's family has got some got some alarms that are going to go off pretty soon, and they're going to have some sober moments in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and that's pretty much what I was hearing too. Was like, it's unfortunate for him because no matter where he goes, the pressure on this kid now, he's going to be kind of painted a villain for most fans. And it sounds like it wasn't even, like you said, it was the handlers. And I don't want to speculate too much, but what I heard was it sounds like maybe family members or close friends that are involved and kind of trying to steer the ship. And yeah, it's just it's very interesting. It's just a different time. Boy, this is not 1995 anymore, is it, Dave?
No. And I mean, if you want to, you can go ahead and say his name because he's very active on Twitter. It's his dad. It goes by Iamaleava. He was the one on Thursday that called Pete. I can't remember his name now all of a sudden, but I think it's Pete Nakos with On 3, referred to him in a very derogatory term. So, yeah, he's out there. He's made himself a public figure. So shoot away. Take all the shots you want.
There you go. Well,
Dave, I just like that soft point you had. I was going to ask, was it James Pierce? Like, did he have any of that softness that you said that, Nico might have, dealing with media and things like that? Did James Pierce have any of that negativity coming out?
Yeah, there's kind of two different kinds of soft, I guess. I mean, there's soft as a player, as a person. And then if I said soft, I was referring to the media. He doesn't like to do the media thing. So
okay.
I think that's just a one-off. I mean, he played hard and physical. I don't think he utilized exactly correctly, but I don't have any question about him being a tough guy. As a matter of fact, I think he's pretty tough, probably has a pretty good angry streak too.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. The scouting reports say that like it's a negative. We want that on our defense. You kidding me? Like, let's get somebody in here that's going to raise the bar a little bit, create a little intensity. So.
Yeah, Coach used to always say to me when I was covering Tennessee, "You'd rather say whoa than sick them." You don't want to have to motivate somebody. I'd rather him be angry and mad about life than I would just kind of complacent and have the Aaron Rodgers mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. So you guys make sure if you can hear my voice right now, go check out his YouTube page, Off the Hook Sports. It's absolutely awesome. Even if you're not a Tennessee fan, they do a great job covering college football. Everybody hearing my voice, go sub to the channel right now. Not that he needs this. He didn't ask for this, but I'm telling you, you're missing out on great content. Again, Dave, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to jump on here with us, sir. We appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime. Sorry about the phone issues.
Absolutely.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Again, that is Dave Hooker with Off the Hook Sports. Absolutely awesome, man. He's a stand-up dude. Love his content. Again, I'm not a big Tennessee fan, but you listen to him talk about the Vols and how passionate they are and everything, it kind of makes you want to start rooting for them. So what'd you guys think? Jacob, I know we haven't gotten your take. You probably didn't get to hear much of what he said about James Pierce Jr., but you guys correct me if I'm wrong, guys. He pretty much said, nah, there's nothing there.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I actually did get to listen. I was listening at work while I was stuck in the Aldi's line. But I
was a guy.
I think it's exactly like we thought. I mean, it seems as if too that there may be a slight bit of credence to maybe him acting quote unquote off because, like Dave just said, he had something. Sounds like pretty catastrophic that he was dealing with, where you could understand that, hey, maybe I'm not going to come around being all smiley because I'm dealing with something that's insanely, impactful in my life, in my personal life. I don't blame a guy for that. And if that got misconstrued as just thinking that has an attitude problem or whatever the case may be, maybe that's the explanation as to where all this drama came from, but I think there is probably more credence to this. Just it's lion season, like you said, somebody has it in. And I remember seeing that James Pierce was so highly touted going into the season. Like you guys talked about, no more football's been played. All of a sudden, March 1st, it's like his stock just went down.
Yeah, because the beat writers are mad at him because he won't talk to the media.
And that's it too, Tim. Like, think about it. How many times have we, reporters are snippy little, whats, and they get really offended when they don't answer their questions. I'm just, here so I don't get fined kind of thing. They hate that mentality.
Marshawn Lynch, right?
They hate that.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the first talented player to not like dealing with the media. We're not new to that.
All right, looks like we're getting good feedback in the comments. Appreciate you guys and gals in here. Hit that like button for us. Again, I just, it hit me the other night. I'm like, why don't I reach out to Dave? Dave would probably say, "Get lost, chump," but we'll see what happens. And sure enough, he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So, really appreciate this time. Yeah.
We got to get him on one more time. I wanted to ask him about Cooper Mays. Looking for some depth at the center position.
I was going to ask him about Brew McCoy. Yeah.
All right, so some other news here before we get into some top 30 visits that broke earlier. So the Packers finally announced their 2025 coaching staff with titles. This was Rob Demoski put this tweet out. There are 6 newcomers: DeMarcus Covington, Luke Getsy, Corey Harkey, Jeremiah Colon, Jeff Kuntz, and Jamal Lett. The big one here to
Luke Getsy is not a newcomer. Stop it.
Well, he is right now, Tim. I mean,
technically speaking,
he probably changed his social security number after spending time in Chicago. You know what I mean? That's got to be a rough look down there. But the one I'm most excited about, if you'll notice here, is DeMarcus Covington. Right? We just kind of assumed he was going to be the defensive line coach. You guys know, former defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots under Gerard Mayo. People hear that and they go, "But they were bad, Clayton." Yeah, but you got to understand, like 6 or 7 years leading up to that, I believe it was, Belichick handpicked him to be in his building working on defense for him. And they had some really solid defenses down the stretch there. So the fact that DeMarcus Covington has now been confirmed is the new defensive line coach as well as the run game coordinator. If you'll remember last year, Coach Campanelli, the linebacker coach who got the defensive coordinator job in, I think, Jacksonville. He is DeMarcus Covington's taken over that run game coordinator spot as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm just glad to see that it was actually confirmed. I think we're going to see immediate impact from this. And what's really cool when you look at it now, Jeff Hafley, former head coach at BC, right? He's your defensive coordinator. Derek Ansley, your passing game coordinator on defense, former defensive coordinator for the Chargers. DeMarcus Covington, defensive line coach, run game coordinator, former defensive coordinator for the Patriots. It's just, you've got so many guys in this building that have so much experience. And the fact that you've got basically a head coach and 2 former defensive coordinators leading the charge in both passing game coordinator and run game coordinator. I'm excited to see what he does with this defensive line. What's your all's take on that? We'll start with you this time, Tim.
Yeah, don't sleep on Coach Ogabasi too. Assistant D-line. We saw our D-line take a step last year. We got better against the run. There was a lot to be excited about with him being there. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Ben Simmons, back once again as our running back coach for, I don't know, the 250th year or whatever this is for him. It's good to see, long-term retention on that side of the ball. Lot to be excited about, but yeah, I'm a defensive guy, and I think Hafley's got a nice squad here. It did suck to lose our Italian stallion there in the linebacker room, but onward and upward, and I feel really good about where this defense is at, especially Ryan Downard, I believe second or third season as the DB coach, making his ascent here in the coaching ranks in the NFL. So there's a good balance with our staff, I think, on the defensive side of the ball with veteran leadership and some new faces that are trying to make a name for themselves in this league. So a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, Emilio, there's several things that come to mind too. Like Sean Mannion, as Coach Lynn mentions here in this comment, Sean Mannion was studying under the all-time QB coach. What was his name again? It's leaving me. Just
Tom Clements.
Yep.
What is it?
Clements.
Tom.
Oh, Clements, yeah. So Sean Mannion got to study under him. Now he takes over, right, if I remember correctly, as the quarterback's coach full-time. Now, Luke Getsy, wasn't he the offensive coordinator in Chicago? Am I thinking right? That was the job he got down there. So Now you have a former offensive coordinator who's seen what that's like. He was the QB coach before, I believe, in Green Bay. So now you've got him back in the building as a senior assistant. There's all kinds of experience in this room, and I'm excited about it. What do you think about it? And John Dunn, I want to mention this, a couple of different things here, Emilio. Adam Stenavich, Jason Wilde done a hell of a job talking about him and how Adam Stenavich was the mastermind behind the Tucker Kraft sneak. He actually, it was his idea to do that. And then if you'll remember, John Dunn, he had drew up a play for Christian Watson, I think it was last year.
Right.
Remember, they drew that up on the fly. Matt LaFleur being the great leader he is, you absorb criticism and you redistribute praise. When they said, man, that was a heck of a play call, he's like, yeah, actually John Dunn, our tight ends coach, drew that up on the sidelines. So what do you think about this new staff here, Emilio?
I mean, I like how it's all coming together, right? I think that it's going to be huge having a couple of, Luke Getsy and then also Sean Mannion in there helping Jordan out. Who they know Tom. They've learned from Tom. Okay, Sean, what can you teach Jordan? What can you do to help him get better? Is there anything that we can do to make this offense hum a little bit more? Not like we were terrible last year, but let's get it cooking. And I like that. Everybody, they have their place, but they're not afraid to speak up. It's going to be a team effort to get this thing. For us to get over the hump, whatever it is in the playoffs, for us to get by, it's got to be a team effort. We're not going to be able to do it, one at a time. Matt's going to have to take some notes from here, and here. Adam's going to have to take some notes. Let's get the O-line going, build that wall. Let's do all the things that's going to make this offense hum. And I'm excited about it. Seriously, get Jason Vrabel in here. Let's just get it all done.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned him. Vrabel's a passing game coordinator. That'll be interesting to see, the looks with him and, Tupac LaFleur out there on offense for sure.
Definitely. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I really do wish we were somehow, some way able to keep Campanelli. That dude was just a jar of lightning. You know what I mean? That guy made me want to run through a brick wall every time he talked.
He was the best guy around.
I am actually intrigued. I don't think anybody brought up Luke Butkus, and what he's done with that offensive line. I mean, that to me, I think is going to be one of the stronger rooms. I really like the Sean Mannion, like you talked about, him and Stenavich, hopefully, and Getsy being able to hopefully take another step with Jordan and really, really try to get the most out of him. And then again, like Tim said, that Vince Okabasi, that's probably my new favorite coach that we have. I hope that he's able to really invigorate that offense or the defensive line again. And then isn't that Ryan Downard? He's a fairly young guy, right? And
yeah.
Been around.
I think it's his second year as the DB coach.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought he was around for a couple of years. I'm impressed with him. I hope that maybe him and Halfley spend a little more time focusing on that DB room, because if we could take a position group that on paper doesn't look maybe the strongest right now, and if we just have a couple tweaks and a few guys make some significant steps, I mean, we could have a really put together defense and a whole team.
As Fred McFarley says here, Coach Camp knew how to fuel the meat missiles, no doubt. So,
oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Someone in here asked, Respect Orange is so Salah's probably still going to be around this season. He's actually the DC in San Francisco again. Yep. So Kyle Shanahan said, that's enough of that over there helping Green Bay. Come back.
Did you by chance listen to
see that season the Niners had last year? Of course. Yeah. Of course they got Bob Saleh.
Did you listen to the interview Ross Tucker had with Fred Warner?
No. Was he good?
It was, dude, Fred Warner is a stud, man. I mean, he's just such a good dude. But he was talking about how Robert Saleh was the only one that basically had any faith in him, because Fred Warner was basically kind of like a tweener edge rusher at BYU, and nobody thought he could play stack backer. And Saleh had him do 40 reps at some sort of defensive some sort of exercise or whatever. And he's like, this dude can play stack backer. And they were like, no, he can't. And he's like, just watch. And he put him out there, and lo and behold, he's could be a future Hall of Famer at some point.
Yeah, which I got to say this, man. They announced this. Just made me think of this. Joseph saying, just want to say Coop, and you talking about Fred Warner. Obviously, it sounds like Jahad Campbell has been invited to the draft.
Yes,
as I'm telling you, if he's there at 23, and we pull the trigger on him, he may miss a little time early, but that's another dude that was a pass rusher. They converted him to stack backer, and he was just as good a stack backer as he was rushing the passer. That guy with Coop long-term, and if it clicks for Quay this year, imagine those three together. You re-sign Quay, you got the other two on rookie contracts, and And you know what? If it don't click for Quay and you have someone like Jihad Campbell, I know that Twitter will blow up. Don't get me wrong. Fans will not like it if they take Jihad Campbell at 23. But that dude, he is an absolute stud, I believe, out of Bama. He's just one of those guys that arrives angry, and he's not just a physical freak. He's not one of those dudes like not the dog on Quay. Quay was an absolute, like, he was a unicorn when it come to physical ability, 6 foot, all the things, right? Jihad Campbell, you turn on the tape in college, and it's like this dude can play backer. So I'm not saying it would be my first choice, but I damn sure would not be upset about it if they went with Jihad Campbell with pick 23. It's just how quick can he get back from that injury? Some people are saying it's going to be November. Others are saying, no, he'll be ready for camp. Those laborums can be a little tricky. So definitely not off to the best start. Now, if he starts to fall and makes it to the second round, maybe you trade up and grab him. That sounds a lot better. So go ahead, Jake.
Did you guys cover the I believe they announced today that there's 17 players that will for sure be in Green Bay. I have the list in case you wanted to.
Let's hit the list real quick. Reel them off.
Sure. 2025 NFL draft attendees, starting with Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama, Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama, Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, Abdul Carter from Penn State, Jackson Dart, Matthew Golden, Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Will Johnson, Tet McMillan, Jalen Milrow, Clayton, Josh Simons, Malachi Starks, Shamar Stewart, which could be another one there, Cameron Ward, and Michael Davis.
Yeah. So there's
Williams. Sorry.
4 on that. How many was on the total list, Jacob?
As far as
that you just read off, how many total there?
17.
17. 4 of those 17, the Packers have had top 30 visits with. So,
and all 17 probably first round picks, right?
Yes.
Let's be real.
I think so. What Jalen Milrow is interesting because some people still see him as like a 3rd round pick. I think there's a legit shot he climbs up into the 1st round. I heard Daniel Jeremiah. You probably heard the same thing, Emilio. It sounds like he's thinking 2nd round, right, for Jalen Milrow.
Yeah, right around the middle of the 2nd. He said it might be a little rich in the 1st, but he's not. You could think that the Steelers like him enough. That's the talk of the town. If they like him enough, pull the trigger. I mean, what's more important than a quarterback?
Yeah. And again, if one of those guys are in house and the Packers take him at 23. That place is going to go nuts. Could you imagine? Because usually you get outside of the top 20, it's, I don't want to say it's rare, but it's less and less likely one of those invitees are, you know what I mean, picked outside of the top 20. So the fact that one of those potentially, whether it's Michael, I like Michael Williams a lot. I really do. I actually like him better than Shamar Stewart, although Shamar Stewart, if it clicks, that dude is going to be an absolute dog. Trying to tear down the DeGuara jersey again.
You don't want it. I gotta get rid of it.
Trying to tell you the whole time, bro. Oh my gosh! All right, is that the Lynn Dickey shirt back there with the chili sauce on it?
Yes, it is.
All right, there you go.
Nice.
Now we know what that's after, right?
I would argue, Tim, you said it, most of these players will go in the 1st. I agree. I don't think Tyler Booker, in my opinion, would go in the 1st. I don't think Jackson Dart possibly could.
Yeah, borderline. Yeah.
And then Jalen would be the only other one. But then Malachi Starks, for whatever reason, I don't think he's going to go in the 1st, which is crazy because he may be the best safety hands down in this draft.
Yeah.
You don't think Tyler?
That's why I said most. Not all of them, right? Probably 10 or more out of that 17 or 18 on the list will probably go.
Jake, you don't think Tyler Booker's going in the 1st? I mean, according to our board, he's 39th, but or 38th. But I was just wondering because all DJ talks about is him being the top interior O lineman on the board. That if anybody needs a guard, take him. Thing.
I know he likes him a lot. I just, for whatever reason, I just don't. There's so many other positions in need. I don't see many teams being willing to take a 1st round pick on a guard when there's, you know what I mean. It just seems a little far fetched at the moment, but I could be wrong.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
All right, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. We're going to break down a couple of top 30 visits. I was wanting to do a mock draft, but we may run out of time unless, of course, we throw in an extra segment tonight. I don't know. I'm not making any promises, but we'll see you on the other side. We appreciate you.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thick.
Welcome into hour 2. That's how we get it started. Lord have mercy. All right, top 30 visit today, guys. We had Mr. SMU edge defender Elijah Roberts. Got to be honest, didn't see him as like this great player, like he's 105th on our big board, if I remember correctly. Started diving into it and was like, this dude looks very, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. So let's before we get into the scouting report, has anybody got any initial? I like to ask this before we get into the details of what this player did in college, all the measurables, all that stuff. Do you guys have any kind of preconceived notions on Elijah Roberts out of, is it Southern Methodist? Is that what it is, guys?
Yeah, SMU.
No.
I freaking love him.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Anybody else?
I think he's a dog out there at the edge. I haven't seen a bunch on him. I would tell you his card if I had one in Ultimate Team, Clay, but I don't for my boy.
I mean,
just loaded up the Xbox to check, didn't you? Go ahead, Jake.
I mean, just real quick. I mean, you look at his grades; they're phenomenal, like absolutely insane. I mean, granted, it's SMU, so take that with a grain of salt. But 2022 has a 72.9 playing 10 games. 2023 a 91.3 playing 14 games. 2024 shows that that's no fluke. He's a 91.1. Dude had 8 sacks this last year, 13 in 2023. He had 45 hurries. I'll say that again: 45 hurries in 2024. In 2023, he had 47. I really love what he does. The true pass set rush grade of 90.7 and a pass rush win rate of 22.4% and a run stop rate of 8.5%. I mean, he's absolutely, and he's most mocked to the Packers by double. I really like that. Really like it.
Chris the Casual in with the super chat. Thank you, sir. He says mock draft Monday loud. We may have to.
You're ready to go.
2-0 for this because mock list Monday. So we'll try to get into it. Let's dive through this top 30. We may hold a top 30 off until tomorrow and go ahead and get a mock draft in this evening because the reality is we're 10 days away and there's going to be no more.
That's crazy. Wow.
It's wild. So here we go. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with SMU edge rusher Elijah Roberts, per team sources targeting him as a power-based prospect in the 2025 NFL Draft, ranked number 105 on the PTA Big Board. Roberts brings a sturdy 6'3.5", 285-pound frame with strength and short area burst, offering Green Bay a potential rational end to fortify their defensive front. That weight might be wrong. We'll double-check it here in a second. Look at this boy in high school. Look at this guy right here. You kidding me?
That's a grown-ass man, dog.
I wonder if they checked the birth certificate in high school. I'm just saying. All right. So here's the scouting report coming out. A 4-star recruit from Columbus High School in Miami, Florida. In the 2020 class, Elijah Roberts earned an 89.67 grade from On3 at 6'3", 260. He dominated as a defensive end with 12 sacks and 20 tackles for a loss as a senior, showcasing raw power and quick first step. His wrestling background added leverage and balance, earning him all Dade County honors. So he was an all Dade County wrestler. We need to put that on the board.
Trust me. He's already getting it.
Wrestler, not a wrestler.
Different. He was the captain too, wasn't he? I believe he had the C on the shirt.
Yeah, captain as well. Ranked number 28 among Florida prospects by On3, Roberts committed to Miami over offers from Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, seen as a high motor talent with NFL potential. Jacob was mentioning the PFF grades. Now you can see here, early on, he was in Miami first. The PFF grade 67.3, 59.0, jumped to a 72.9, pretty solid. And then when he transferred over to SMU, getting a ton of playing time, 91.3, 91.1. You can look at that one of two ways. Some people look at that and go, hey, he's playing lesser talent. True. But you can also look at it and go, when you play lesser talent, you better dominate. And this dude dominated.
You want to hear lesser talent that he played against? Nevada. Then it was UConn, I believe. Then BYU, TCU, Florida State, Louisville, Stanford, Duke, Pitt, Virginia, Cal, Penn State, and Clemson.
Dude, there's some solid programs.
What's his lesser talent that he's played against? Come on.
And his best game was against Clemson, was it not?
Come on now.
Let's go. All right, college stats. Roberts' 5-year career across Miami and SMU reflects steady growth. In 2020, he played 5 games at Miami, recording 4 tackles and 1 forced fumble. In 21, he appeared in 9 games with 8 tackles and a half sack. So you're seeing not much playing time there. Even though he's playing in those games, he's not getting many snaps, right? In 22, he played 10 games with 9 tackles. Then he transferred to SMU, and look at the stats blow up. He broke out in 2023 playing 14 games with 37 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 pass breakups. In 24, he started 13 games, earning all ACC honorable mention with 35 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 pass breakup. His career totals 51 games, 93 tackles, 17.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 3 pass breakups. So the big thing at Miami, I think the reason he transferred was like, man, I'm not getting any playing time, right? I'm not getting limited snaps. So very, very interesting there. When we move
111 snaps in 22 to 642 in 23, 590 in 24. This is a guy that needs to be on the field.
Yeah,
for sure.
And SMU was fired up to get him in-house.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, detailed scouting report. This is from Dane Brugler. A 2-year starter at SMU, Roberts lined up primarily as an edge defender, the 7 to the 9 tech. So he's in one of those wide techs, right? And defensive coordinator Scott Simmons, however you say it, 4-man base line. He struggled to find a consistent role in 3 years at Miami, but he flourished with the Mustangs and combined for 131 pressures over the past 2 seasons, number 1 in the FBS over that span.
Let's go.
Roberts has a very unique body type for an edge rusher, but he knows how to affect the quarterback by leaning into his strengths, specifically his long arms and ability to create force-hit contact, especially if the blocker plays with wide hands and invites Roberts' signature bull rush into his chest. He drops his weight against the run, locks out, and holds his own at the point of attack, although his range was inconsistent when working off contact. Overall, Roberts is more deliberate than dynamic as an athlete. He accelerates well in short areas, though, and power is the foundation of his game. What does Greg Cosell say all the time? You've got to be able to play with power at the NFL level. Got to. Let's see. It says which shows both as a pass rusher and an edge setter. His uniqueness might scare off some teams, but he has the goods to be a rotational edge with upside on the interior. When you look at the RAS, he scored a 6.84. So this is one of those guys. He's a tape guy. He's a production guy. Emilio, what was it that Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks said? You've got traits and you got production, and you got to find that balance between traits and production. This is a production guy, no doubt about it. 10 1/4 inch hands, got big old paws on that boy. 33.63 on the arm length, 6'3", 285. That 285 scoring a 9.45. He carries that weight well. Ran a 4.78 40 at 285. Is really impressive. So yeah, pretty solid across the board. I know it doesn't like jump off the page at you, but measured out pretty well with that arm length. That's something that Goody will have his eyes on for sure. So injury and character concerns. Roberts has been durable, playing 51 games over 5 seasons with no major injuries reported. He played through minor ankle soreness in 2023 at SMU, missing no games, and showed resilience in 2024's physical ACC schedule. Off the field, he's a high character leader, named a 2024 SMU team captain after transferring from Miami. Coaches praise his work ethic and adaptability across defensive schemes with no off-field issues. His wrestling background underscores his discipline, earning respect on both programs. And it said, you noticed it didn't mention anything about a hand injury. Look at my boy out there playing with
a cast. See the cast on the hand. I was just going to say.
I love that they didn't mention it too. Like, doesn't even matter. Said, hey, let's strap up. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what he said, right? Wrap it up. Let's go. Get me on the field.
So here's how he's looked across the board in terms of like where he's been projected. Okay. So at the end of, or right there around January, he takes a spike up to about the 150 spot. And then in February, no more football has been played. All of a sudden he dips all the way down to like 244. And then by February 25th, he's back about where he started. He peaked around March 21st. And now it looks like he's dropped down a little bit more. Now, when you look at the mock drafts here that's been recently done, and on April 10th, he was a 7th round pick, according to Draft Countdown. And then on April 4th, a little earlier than that, though, he was a 3rd round pick by Cameron Henderson over at Bear Goggles On. Pretty cool name there, by the way. I hate the Bears, but that's pretty funny. We'll play off beer goggles there. Emilio's had beer goggles a couple times in his youth, I promise you. A couple times. CBS had him in round 3 on April 2nd. March 26th, they had him in the 6th round. Game Green Nation had him go in the 5th round in March. 12th Man Rising, I'm sure that's a Seahawks website, had him go in the 3rd round in mid-March. They had him going to Green Bay. Jacob Westendorf had him in the 6th round, March 13th. So he's somewhere between the 3rd and the 6th to 7th round. So this guy, he may be a 3rd round pick. He may be hovering around until the 6th round. That's what it says, your draft projection. Elijah Roberts projects as a 3rd to 6th round pick in 2025 NFL draft, aligning with his 105 ranking on our PTA big board. His power, pressure, production, and fit as a 3-4 base end match Green Bay's defensive needs. Obviously, it's talking about that versatility if you're going to play a base end. At 280 is kind of the cutoff when you're in a 34 front. If he can play edge, that makes for a really good edge setter in a 4-3 front. Yep. His ceiling is a reliable starter if he refines his counters, while his floor is a high-end backup with special teams value. The Packers visit highlights their interest in his unique tools, and his Shrine Bowl performance could solidify his draft stock. What's your all's thoughts, Jacob? How you feel about this guy after reading all that, man?
I really, really like him. I just don't quite understand where Goody would justify taking this pick. I mean, you don't see many prospects where it's like, yeah, he could go between round 2 and 7. It's like, yeah, that's the draft. I would personally think that he's closer. Yeah, just like Drew's saying here, I think he's closer to the 3rd or 2nd round, honestly. Like, I really do think that somebody could surprise, that one GM could take a chance on him, you know what I mean? And really think that he's got the tools. I mean, you can't argue with that production. And I would argue that as far as like the RAS goes, that's not terrible in any capacity, you know? Yep. And if, especially teams that would utilize somebody like with that versatility, I think he could play if in a pinch, if you had to kick him inside and maybe do like more of a 5, a 3 tech every now and then. And obviously he said he did the wide 9 and the 7s in college. So, you know, almost 6'4" and almost 300 pounds. That's a pretty good plug and play guy anywhere on that defensive line.
Yeah. Okay. And H.E. Solder here saying too, captain and wrestler.
Let's go.
It's on the board, H.E. Now let me add to this, Jacob. Here, Elijah Roberts ran his numbers on RES as a D tackle. Okay. His height was a 7'8", his weight was 252. Vertical was an 8.52. Broad was a 9.67. 40-yard dash was a 9.87, and his shuttle was a 4.0. His RAS as a D tackle, 9.35.
Let's go. Yeah. Hey, and again, man, you can – what did he weigh in at, 285 at the combine?
285. And Consensus has him as a D lineman. PFF has him as an edge.
As an edge, yep.
Yeah.
So, man, that's what you do when you can play from 4 or 4I all the way to wide 9, right? Like, put them anywhere, like Jacob said.
That's very interesting, man, because you get yourself in a pinch and you can kick him inside a little bit.
Yep.
That's really exciting. Really exciting. Yeah. Seems like he plays with a mean streak, too. You know what I mean? So, there you go. Elijah Roberts. Anything else on him, guys?
No, you had me at off the field. He's a high character leader.
Well, and plus the fact that 51 games over 5 seasons with basically no injuries, like the guy's he's a workhorse. I like that.
Yep. And he's got the versatility factor too. We should note that for sure.
Yep. Did you put the V in there, Emilio?
The V? Ooh. No, I can.
Probably need to do that. That's a good call.
Man.
Yeah. This is a guy, I mean, he can play in the 34 or the 4-3, you know. We can move him around.
I think Chris said it best. He goes, "This man has a unique set of skills."
So I got a question.
Liam Neeson of the draft.
That's right.
I got a question for you boys. I was really excited about hitting on Ty Felton, and I know Tim was as well. If we do a mock draft, we probably need to hang that over till tomorrow. Is that cool with everybody? We just wait and hit Ty Felton tomorrow as a top 30 visit and do a mock draft right now. Is that all right with everybody?
Anybody give the people what they want. Mock draft. Let's go. Maybe we'll draft Ty Felton in the 3rd or 4th.
We can do a mock draft. We'll get 5 more super chats. We'll do a mock draft.
They're routed to Emilio's bank account. If we get 5.
Respect Orange just said mock Tua.
Oh no. What happened to her? Where did she go?
Well, we took her off the soundboard and she lost it, man. It was just one.
She was America's sweetheart until she stole all that money from everybody with the fake Bitcoin or whatever it was, right?
She pulled the rug and she went off into the sunset, dude.
Hey, man, listen, that's
you ready to go?
It's a story. It's the story of Jacob's life right there. 1 minute they're here, the next minute they're gone, right, Jake?
And they took all your money, I tell you.
Bates, is that a fake one or is that a real one?
I feel like that's
Bates
fake.
Doesn't fake anything, does he? Nah,
yeah, that's a real one.
Bates has donated so much of this stupid show that we're gonna consider it real, even if it is fake. All right, let's do it. Let's do a mock draft, 7 rounds. I'm gonna keep my input out of it, guys. I want you guys to run this tonight, okay? Bates, stop. Put your money back in your pocket, sir, please. You're too kind to us.
Something they never say at the Oval Office.
They never say that, do they? It's a good point. All right. 7-round mock. Are we ready, boys? Let me see if I can get this full screen somehow. I'm probably going to screw it up by messing around here too much. Yep,
You ready to go?
All right, that's good enough. Okay. 7-round mock. Any kind of trade up or anything y'all want to do, or are we just going to kind of let it roll to 23 here?
What would happen if we tried to trade Jair for like a fourth?
Okay.
Would you want to do that? Does that sound realistic?
I know
No.
Tim said
no.
Hey, I will say this. I'm going to say this about Jair, and then we'll get started on the draft. Hearing Wildy talk about it, Wildy has been very vocal, like, hey, and he still thinks he's not going to be a Packer, but he's like, the more time that goes on, kind of feels like both camps are like, this might be the best situation for both of us. And you guys go look. I don't want to, speak for him, but he was like, it ain't moving much, maybe 0.1%, but it's like the more time that goes on, you feel like, okay, Jair may be returning to the Packers. So I'd be all about it, to be honest with you, because the guaranteed money's pretty much gone. And if he misses time because of injury, which is my main concern, right, I would much rather have Jair than a 4th-round pick. That's just me personally. Yep. Now, the more if he gets hurt, which is my concern, guess what? You get a portion of that cap back because it's going to be in salary form as opposed to, guaranteed money. So
and then Kalen King gets to see the field a little bit, maybe,
Maybe.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. He rides this out. He stays on the team. He gets picked up in free agency next year. Don't we still get a comp pick?
How does that work? Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. If you lose him in free agency, depending on what you pick up in free agency, it's supposed to offset, right? Now, I did learn this year that because we traded for Malik Willis, if he walks in free agency because you traded for him, that doesn't count. It's got to be someone you drafted. So maybe, I imagine we will get a comp pick. Drew, if you're in the chat still, let us know about that. If Jair were to walk in free agency, of course, he's under contract for 2 more years, Emilio.
Oh, that's right.
Really makes no sense.
We're up a creek without a paddle, huh?
That's right. Let's start this thing. We're just going to roll it to 23. You guys have the steering wheel tonight, all right? So I'm just going to
I already know who I'm picking late round.
All right, pick 23, best on the board, Shamar Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. 21, Malik Starks, safety out of Georgia. 22, Kenneth Grant, lineman out of Michigan. Calm down, Jacob. 23, Nick Emenwore, safety out of South Carolina. 25, Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. 26, Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. 27, Jackson Dart. 28, Grace Abel. Derek Harmon's there. James Pierce Jr. is there, like we talked about. What do you guys want to say? Meke Buka? What do you guys want to see here? Talk to me.
I'm boring. Give me D-line. Let's go.
Grant, some people are saying trade. Do we want to entertain a trade down here? And you guys tell me what to click on.
I mean, realistically, yeah. Look at that grouping of people. I mean,
2-0 for I don't mean to cut you off. 2-0 for this says I don't like any of these guys. Trade back. What the hell are you talking about? There's like 50 guys here I would take.
You don't like any of these guys?
Like these are all like who are you looking for is what I'm asking. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Jacob.
No, I mean, if you can you scroll up just a tidbit there?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, geez, look at that. I mean, anything from Shamar Stewart to Kenneth Grant to
Walter Nolan,
Zabel, Nolan, Harmon. If I had to choose, I'd go Kenneth Grant. Is that what you would do, Tim?
Yeah, that would be mine. Grant or Nolan.
Yeah, but it just feels like almost like I feel like we could get a little more.
Look at all these guys that need tackle, man.
Let's see. Trey, coach is saying we trade back to Baltimore at 27 and take their 91st pick.
Anybody opposed to that?
Not at all.
I think if we could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we could get a trade.
Them or the Chiefs.
What's that, Emilio?
I said trade back with them or the Chiefs.
All right, so we're going to give them 23 for 27 and 91, right?
Yes.
Looks like they said yes. We good with it?
Yeah.
All right, we're trading back 4 picks with the Baltimore Ravens.
Plus, that gives us an awesome grouping from 87 to 91.
And look who's still on the board.
Look at that. Oh, no.
Right, let's go. Let's see if Shamar went. Shamar's gone now, but James Pierce is there. So keep that in mind. Wide receiver, Emeke Buka is still there.
Oh, look at Jaden.
We're going to get Jaden Higgins at 54. Don't worry.
All right, Dan. How about we? Can you go back?
We're getting Higgins or Harris at 54. So
I'll be
Dude,
okay with you.
I like that. Yeah. All right, let's go. What do you think, Grant?
Kenneth Grant or Nolan? What do you guys
Emilio, where's Kenneth Grant on the board, man? Do you have the board pulled up by
Kenneth
chance?
Grant is 14th. Walter Nolan is 19th. And who's the other one?
Derek Harmon. He's a little lower, right? 28th,
Yes,
I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, not that we have to do it, but realistically, if you saw Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, and Darius Alexander all there, would you not still try to trade back even 1 or 2 spots here?
I would go ahead and take James Pierce because he's even higher on the board.
We have never traded back twice before we've made a first pick. Y'all want to do it today?
Okay, let's do it. Hey, I'm all for a good time.
Emilio said, "I'll try anything once." So
No,
let's go.
The first round. Do not go out of the first round.
Okay. Trade back with the Chiefs. Trade back with the Chiefs then.
So we're going KC then at 31.
Yep.
And we're going to try to pick up 66.
Okay.
They said, "Get out of here," but we can give them something back.
Get out of here.
They said no.
Let's
No.
Let's try to get a.
No, just give me.
We'll take 95. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take 95.
All right. That's what I hate
go
about
with
it. Now
Emilio's
we got to exit out now. Let me come back. Hold on, man. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to try to give 27, right, for 31 and 95. They said yes.
Take that all day. Third
All
round, we're gonna feast in the third. Oh,
Look at us.
And we're going to use all our third round picks to trade back up into the second.
Look at this. Tampa Bay said,
jeez.
"You give us pick 31, we'll give you everything, including a 6-man team of our janitors, our custodians."
You can use the stadium when you're down here too.
So still there is Walter Nolan, Tyleek Williams at D
All
tackle.
right, let's run up Nolan.
Okay, but
All
what
right.
about Pierce? It's got to be Pierce. I'm sorry, it's got to be.
Where's Pierce at on the board, Emilio?
He is 12th on the board.
Take him.
So it's
yeah,
we're
take
talking
'em.
Tim. We're talking about 12th at edge or 14 with Kenneth Grant at D tackle. That's
That's
tough.
it.
Man.
That's what we're stuck between.
Trade back.
You guys know where I'm at. I think D line is more important than edge. That's just my opinion, but I'm cool with either pick. I'll take Pierce Jr. right here for sure. No problem.
All right. So is that your vote, Tim?
I feel like Tim's Tim is just a whatever defense. Tim's just a defense. Emilio, are you willing to
I
go
really
on the
want to
limb?
say Walter Nolan. I really do. I
Okay,
really do.
Tim's
But
saying Walter
I'm
Nolan.
totally cool with the value we get with James Pierce Jr. So
Yeah, James Pierce Jr.
I will punch
especially
the
after the
ticket
convo
for-
we had tonight. So
I will
gonna
punch
say.
the ticket for Pierce.
I'll
All right,
back
so,
it.
All right, so we're going Pierce here, right?
Yep.
All right, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. So now we're coming back up at 54. I think we all want to look at wide receiver, right?
Can you
yes.
look at
So
all
we got Trey Harris sitting there, then Jalen Noel, and then we've got Elick Ayamaner, then Jack Besh.
Trey Harris.
Yeah.
D line.
Let's look at D-line. Tyleek Williams still there. TJ Sanders still there. This
Darius
is
Alexander.
Trey Harris, and then we get Omar Norman-Lott at 87.
Ooh, I
Let's
like
go.
that. Can you go to all real quick, Killian?
Mm-hmm. So you got Travion Henderson, you got Tyleek Williams, Mason Taylor.
Mason Taylor. Oh, we might need to take Mason Taylor here.
No, we don't. We just signed Fitz.
Fitzmagic, I know, but
A second round pick on a tight end, Emilio?
Yeah,
dude,
come on,
Mason
man.
Taylor's going to play for 12 years.
Oh man! Just imagine if Dave is if Dave Hooker's watching right now, going, "I can't believe I went on this show." What am I thinking? All right, so what are we thinking here, boys?
Trey Harris. Run the card. Stop playing.
We got.
I would honestly go D line still here. There's so many wide receivers left. I
can't believe I'm arguing offense.
I know, Tim. I'm sorry. I'm gonna push back. I think we should still go D line here and get our boy Tyleek.
Okay, where's Tyleek on that board?
It's hard to argue with that.
See where Tyleek's at here, and
I
I want to know where TJ Sanders is too.
Mm-hmm.
Tyleek is 35th and TJ Sanders is 40th, but he
What
or
about-
39th, but he has a spade. Tyleek is ahead of him though.
What about Alexander Darius?
He is swimming down there.
Yeah, he's pretty low. Not real low, but he's
Lower
lower.
going to
than
be 37 years old too in his rookie year. Doesn't help
He
him.
can be drawing Social Security out there.
Yeah.
So with Tyleek Williams, he's better on the board than Trey Harris, right, Emilio? Trey Harris
Correct.
is
4 spots
Trey?
better.
4 spots better. So not
So maybe we go with Emilio. Let's take Tyleek here, and then maybe we get Jacob's boy Torrey Horton at 87 or something.
Oh, yeesh.
That would be a go-to. You could probably try to get him around 95. Even.
Look at Tim. Tim knows what compromise means. Let's go, Tim.
Let's
I
go.
like that.
Hey, I'm never going to argue with defense too much.
Tim been married for a while.
Let's go.
Tim been married for a while. He knows how this works. Listen, it's give and take. You kidding me? Your back hurts when you sleep on the couch. So
okay. Can we look at cornerback though, real quick?
Yeah, we can. We can.
But we're still going to take Tyleek.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, who was it? Somebody was really high on Jacob Parrish. It might have been Dane Brugler. Somebody liked Jacob Parrish a lot. Keep that in mind. I think Bucky Brooks said he liked Noah Williams. It made me think of you guys because he really liked Noah Williams as well, but a little lower. So what are we thinking here, boys? Tyleek?
I think it's got to be.
Tyleek, A+. There you go, bang. So we got 2 top 30 visits already drafted. Pretty cool. So now we're back on the clock at 87. All right, pick 87.
Oh, wait, what was that? We just had a trade proposal from the Jets. You want to fleece the Jets one more time?
Tim, they're going to start claiming us, or we're going to have to claim them on our taxes or something if we keep doing this. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be – you're going to start holding us responsible for abusing them. Isaiah Bond, which we know the personal issues off the field. There's Ty Felton, the top 30 visit we just had. So who was it you said you wanted at wide receiver earlier, boys?
Torrey Horton.
Torrey Horton. He's still down there, right?
No, he went.
He's gone.
Where did he go?
Okay, hold on. We're all right. Hold on.
Calm down.
Tim, you lied.
Hold on. Pat Bryant, Ty Felton,
Tesla.
Restrepo, my favorite undersized receiver in the draft.
I was going to say as we were talking about this, boys, receivers getting thin quick. Like if we don't take Trey Harris, but Tyleek Williams, it's hard to argue with that pick, man. Really,
man, because look, Omar-Lott is still there, right?
For D-line, probably.
Yeah. So we should have went Trey Harris, and we should have went Omar-Lott.
Drew D, sir. Isaiah Bond may be out on Bond. I see what you did there, sir. Well, we'll look at it, boys.
Can you go about all? Yeah. So, Marcus Bowe, Harold Fannin.
You know I'm going to take my boy Bo. I'm voting.
I like
for Bo
Omar Norman.
I like Bo there too, Tim. I'm going to be honest.
Coast to East. Let's go.
Where's Bo on our board, Amelia?
My boy Bo is 74.
That'd be good value at 87, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
It would be.
I wouldn't mind that.
All right, so we're going to go.
I like the walls, man. These things are coming up very nicely in this draft.
Building the trenches. So Marcus Bowe, right? We good?
I like this.
All right. A+. Crushed it. All right. Moving along here. Get these trades out of the way. 91 now. Pick 91.
Jeez, Omar.
Don't you dare bring up Tyler Shuck's name. Don't do it.
Get our boy Scattaboo.
How about Scattaboo?
Oh, my God.
There's Omar Norman-Lott.
If we take a running back before a receiver.
What do you guys? How do y'all feel? Has anybody's opinion changed on Kyle Williams at all?
I don't know.
I haven't watched it.
No.
Okay. All right. So wide receiver, it kind of feels like you can get most of these guys. If we're not big on Kyle Williams, then we could definitely get these other guys with at least the next pick, right?
I believe
Pat Bryant, I was kind of big on.
Is Jacob's boy still up there?
Who's that?
Horton's gone.
No, he gone.
But Isaac's up there. Didn't you like Isaac too, Jacob?
I really do. Yeah. I just feel like that's a lot too early.
Do you like him more than you like Pat Bryant?
Yeah.
Where's Jacob Parrish on our board, Emilio?
I would take Jacob Parrish at this point.
I would take Jacob Parrish.
Parrish is 120 on our board.
So a little bit of a reach, but he's going to be gone.
He's versatile, and they love his speed. He is quick.
Where's Quincy Riley on our board?
Quincy is 209.
Okay, so he's way lower. Yeah, let's go.
What about
we need a corner, right? If we don't go corner here, we're probably not going to get one.
Noel is 160.
Where's Kobe and Za Frazier as well?
Kobe is. How am I spelling that? There we go.
And we're getting some hate in the chat from Timothy S.
Man,
C-O-B. I'm sorry. Kobe is 132. And Mr. Zai is, I think he's higher up.
Tim says there's no way a guard's going 87 in this draft. That's dumb. Marcus Bowe played tackle in college. But
looking at Timothy's profile pic, I think he knows what he's talking about. This dude seems like a pretty solid. So Zai,
I like Parrish.
Where's Zai?
Zai is 93, which is 20 spots ahead of Parrish, but I do really like Parrish.
Yeah. So if we go Parrish here, and then we come back and try to get Zai at 124, he's there. I think that's a good grouping, according to our board, right?
Right.
So we thinking Parrish here, boys?
Yeah.
I like that.
Jacob Parrish is
and
the
I don't
pick.
think we necessarily need to double dip at corner, even with the Jair being up in the air. We got Nate Hobbs, we've got some youth back there. We may not have to take another corner right away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like that.
All right, what are we thinking now, boys? Pick 95. Again, just a recap for everybody on the podcast here. With the 31st pick, because we traded back twice like a bunch of cheesers, we got James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. At 54, we got Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. 87, we went Marcus Bowe out of Purdue. 91, we went Jacob Parrish, cornerback out of Kansas State. What do we want to see here, gents?
Omar Norman-Lott.
I mean, we got to look at wide receiver, though, real quick.
I say we go ahead and take Andrew Makuba, the safety.
Are you being serious?
Stop it.
59th on the board.
That's available, right?
It might be Kyle Williams' time.
59th on the PTA big board.
Jeez.
Was the fourth best safety last year.
That's interesting, man. Think about the safety room here for a second, all right? Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, right? Those are your starters. Backups, you've got
Bullard,
our boy, Oladapo, and Zane Anderson, right? So you'd have to carry 5, which I think we regularly do, mainly because of special teams, right? To keep all those guys on the roster. Would it be crazy to go safety? Would it?
Yes. I don't think so.
The value is great there.
Only if it's a safety who can't play in the slot.
I want to ask the chat real quick. Would we go? How do y'all feel about Makuba? Safety.
He's a versatile safety, is how we have him.
He can play a little in the slot. What do y'all think? Drew says he thinks we're loaded at safety. Chris says I'm not answering your question. Just go with Omar Norman-Lott.
Yeah, we still got Omar Brown on practice squad too.
That's a good point.
Guys, we got to look at. We got.
Emilio, you got outvoted, sir. Sorry.
Wide receiver.
We got to look at receiver here.
What do you guys think about taking a shot at Kyle Williams?
I'm telling you, man, our board, where's he at on our board, Emilio? And explain why he's low to everybody.
Kyle.
I know you're upset over Makuba, man.
I am a little upset. We're going to drop 130 spots so we can take Kyle Williams at 193.
I know people don't like what Emilio's saying in the chat, but I'm telling you, this is called working the board. The value there, if Goody's board had Makuba where we've got him, and you could get him at 95, he's running the damn card.
And it's
where's Restrepo on our board? He's probably higher, right?
Okay, hold on, Tim. You're right. That's completely fair.
Restrepo that ran the 5 flat.
Restrepo is 57th on our board, Tim.
57. Okay. No. So if we're sticking with the board, we're taking Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hands up. You're right. You caught me.
I hate this draft.
Really? Because we're getting straight A's, baby.
Jacob hasn't seen those since elementary.
Look at that defense, man, getting stronger.
My hands are clean of this one. I told you I have nothing to do with it.
Stutzman, Danny Stutzman here. Let's go.
No, we're not getting a linebacker till the end, and I know who we're getting. Okay, so we can just wait.
And his name might be Jack Kaiser.
No.
Oh, sorry. Let's go, boys. Come on, pick it up.
Tim, I think you're completely fair. If we need a receiver, then take Restrepo. If want to
go receiver here,
if you're keeping Ed to the defense, I'm not against Makuba. And it's just I like it because we haven't seen these kind of names normally. We're not picking at 91, 95 all the time, so we get a little different bite.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm also okay with waiting on receiver and getting a Ty Felton or a Dante Thornton, Pat Bryant, somebody a little later. That's cool too.
Tesla.
Where's Pat Bryant on the board, Emilio?
You got it.
So I think we're higher on him than most people are. I could be wrong though.
Pat Bryant is 116.
Yeah. So that would be great value at like 159. My gosh. All right. Talk to me, boys.
Dante
Makuba.
Thornton is a blocking machine, by the way, for what it's worth. No block, no rock in Green
I
Bay.
say we wait for our receiver then, Tim, and we go get our boy Makuba from Texas.
Oh my God.
I agree with that first part.
Yeah, let's see what kind of long snappers we got here. We got Austin Brinkman at 468.
Okay, we do have Austin though on the board.
Dude, just take Omar Norman-Lott and get this over with already.
Is he still there? I mean, I feel like
Let's go.
Where's he at on the board, Emilio?
Omar is
Acting like we didn't just lose TJ Slayton. Come on now.
Norman-Lott is 113.
Oh, so that's a little bit of a reach. Never mind.
What's the other one? Farmer.
Joshua Farmer.
Farmer's 174, and yeah. No, I think it's our boy Makubi or Restrepo.
I'm telling you, man, that again, according to our board. Now, if we're looking for good grades, Makuba would probably get us an A, maybe an A plus. Restrepo would probably be like a B minus. So,
I would rather not reach on Restrepo.
Me too.
All right. We're going
Let's
safety,
go,
right?
baby.
All right. Chat, turn your head. We're going Andrew Makuba.
Bring him
safety
in.
out of Texas.
Wait, the chat's gonna burn this show down.
This is going to be
Who?
Look, we're just trying to pass, man. That's all we're trying to do here. Okay. So
Thank
now we
you,
go back to
Z.
wide receiver.
Oh my God, take a wide receiver now for the love of God.
Restrepo is still there.
I think we gotta go. Oh,
Emilio, do we have? Listen to me stuttering like a Restrepo. Does he have the hard eyes, or am I wrong thinking he's small?
Restrepo
He's
is
small for sure.
He's like 5'7". He
He's
does
small
not.
and
What the
slow.
hell are we doing?
Where's
Small and
Tez
slow.
Johnson on our board?
Same thing with him too. He's a little small, a little.
He's
slow.
tiny too.
This
Little
is
guy.
89.
Bye, Timothy. See ya. Have a good
Tim,
night.
don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, my friend.
Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate you. Hit that like button on the way out.
I think we go Dante Thornton. To be honest,
It's
That's what I
funny
do.
too because he just left and he's been screaming draft Dante Thornton. He walked out. All right, we're going Dante Thornton here, boys.
Yeah.
I like it.
Any
I like
objections?
Nah, maybe
It's
we'll
gonna be
keep him.
a bad grade, but right. Jay Cole says Tez is 5 pounds. Talk to me, boys. We're running out of time here. We're
I'm done.
Hey, Stackbacker. Let's look at Stackbacker.
Oh Lord.
Danny Stutzman.
Ooh, all right.
Here's the
Run the
guy
board. Get
on
him
our
up. Let's
board.
go. Take him. Take him. Take him.
All right, Danny Stutzman, A plus.
You know what, Chris Paul
All right.
Jr.? Okay,
Let's
all
get-
right. Now let's get a receiver.
Now let's get Tesla. All right.
Okay, perfect.
No, Pat Bryant.
Pat Bryant. I'll go Pat.
Pat Bryant, baby.
Amelia,
Or
what's
Nick
the,
Nash.
what's the board say amongst these receivers here?
Pat Bryant is 116.
Yep.
Tesla's like 300.
Isaac is 370, and
Where's-
who's the
Where's
other one?
Ty Felton at?
Pat Bryant, run the cod.
Yeah, run the CAD.
Ty Felton on our board is 131, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so we're going, what would you say, Pat Bryant? Is that right?
Pat Bryant.
All right. Pat
Yes.
Bryant it is, B plus out of Illinois. Great hands, good against man coverage, if I remember correctly, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
there you go. Yeah, monster aggressor. I was with you, buddy, talking about Ty Felton being the top 30 visit. All right. What now, boys? What now?
We can check corner, see what's happening over there.
Take a peek at corner.
See if
Chase.
our boy Marshall. Thank you. Okay, I just got to say this: 98 card. Okay, an ultimate team, a what if card for Mr. Marshall. Nasty at man to man.
Give me
Where's he at on the
Jalen
board?
Smith instead.
What'd you say, Tim?
Jalen Smith if we're going corner again.
Marshall's 340 on our board.
Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, let's hold off on that, Amelia. I
Let's
know he's
wait.
got a good card, but
I think we can wait because we could get Dotson, Smith, or Huzzy down
Yeah.
with these last few picks. Can we look at wide receiver again?
wide receiver Isaac Tesla.
I'm just saying.
We're clear on
Or
the
Andrew
board.
Armstrong.
Too old for this. This draft is so unhinged. It feels like long snapper is on the horizon.
We could look at long snapper. We could.
Yeah, we did.
Better trade back again.
He'll be there at 250. He'll be there at 250. I promise you. Whichever one you like, we'll be there at 250. So where's Tesla on the board, Emilio?
He's 370.
370. Jesus.
379, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, can't do it. Me no like that. What are you
not doing another? Are we really going to take another receiver?
Here we've only taken one offensive lineman.
That's what I'm saying.
Mitchell Evans is 153 on the board, and he's got hard eyes. And he was.
I'm trying my best to protect that roster spot for my boy Malik Heath. You know, that's why I don't want another receiver.
Well, what about a tight end, Tim? How's your take on that?
Yeah, let's go tight end. I'm with it.
Bring our boy Mitch in. PFF 22, 94, 23, 11, 24.
Can I say something, Emilio?
88.
Me being the resident Notre Dame fan here, as much as I would love an Irish, the intel on him was he really didn't play hard last year.
Oh,
I know.
Hey,
I know.
Have we taken a look to see if is this guy on the board still?
That's a good question.
The old DC.
Jacob Bayer's there. He'll be there
Here's
at the end.
Guy. That might be our 250.
We got him around the 100 spot, right, Emilio?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's wild, man. That's wild to think about. So we could reserve one of those last picks for him if we want to go that route. So
Brian says Jalen Travis, offensive tackle, 6'8", 339, 9.07 RAS.
Where's he at on the board, Emilio? Jalen Travis, JALEN.
218. It's because we have no information besides his consensus at 194 and 33rd to 117.
So we don't have any PFF grades in there for him?
No PFF for Mr. Travis. Wow. I'll see if I can pull him up quick.
Well, we got to get those in there for sure. So Jalen Travis might be the pick here, to be honest with you. Let me do this real quick while we're over on time, of course. This is how that works. You guys talk amongst yourselves there. Jacob, Tim, what would your pick be right here so far based off what we've seen?
Just real quick, Jalen Travis, 6'8", 89th percentile. His weight's in the 96th percentile. His span's in the 85th. His broad's in the 92nd. His vert is the 99th percentile. Dude is an absolute freak. I'd be all right with him. He's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Just saying.
Yeah, his PFF grade 23. In 2023 was an 80.9. It dropped to a 70.8 this year. So that kind of feels like that Jaden Reed type pick.
Hold on. I'll get you a new number in 2 seconds here. 178.
We'll stall for a second here.
I do agree that if we go O-line, it should be a tackle, not an interior.
Yeah, right. I agree, Tim. Yeah, get somebody out there on the edge.
Okay, hold on. Let me refilter it real quick. And our boy, Mr. Jalen Travis, moved up to 155.
Get him on board.
Run the cod.
A+, crushed it.
Bam.
Glad. Hey, see, this is why you do these exercises too. Like we would not have had that information. We would have overlooked it. So
Aronde Gadsden.
No, is Jack Kaiser still on the board, or did he disappear?
No, if we're going linebacker, you're scrolling down to my boy Sean, and you're putting him on the roster.
Sean Dolak.
Yes, you are.
Sean Dolak here, boys. Defend your pick. No, thank you. I will not.
Sean Dolak, 188, 186 on the board. Okay. Hits the measurables, 54 and 22, 154 and 23, but was hurt. Third in PFF last year.
That's a positive. Okay. He was hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go Tesla in 237. Come back around. Get your boy Dolak. All right.
No, we're getting our Kansas baby with our last pick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where's Thor at? Did Thor go?
He better not have.
He did.
Hold on. Gone. Was that Omarion Hampton still on the board there?
Running back?
No.
All you running back fans out there?
That can't be.
That can't be, right? Okay. I'm seeing things.
What are we thinking here, gents? Talk to me.
Either Tesla or Drew Kendall.
I say Higgins, Jay Higgins, or Drew Kendall.
Where's Drew Kendall? Amelia?
Mr. Drew Kendall.
We've worked Amelia like a dog tonight. We're hour 30 in.
Drew Kendall's 202, which is 50 spots behind my boy Sean.
Where's Jay Higgins out of Iowa?
So stupid.
Jay Higgins ran like a 5.2 40, but
Jay Higgins had a negative RAS at 174, still 20 spots behind my boy Sean on the board.
A negative RAS.
All right. Take it easy.
He's never gonna have a shot unless I put up a little fight for him. He's never gonna make
Higgins is still running this 40.
You guys don't want Blake Martinez 2.0? Come on now.
Only if he got the Pokemon cards.
Oh man, Maury Harris. Yeah, this is we got to make a pick here, boys.
I say we take Drew Kendall.
Drew Kendall, interior offensive lineman. So that's 2 interiors, 1 offensive tackle we've taken. If we go that route, where's Drew Kendall again, Emilio? I think I asked you. I'm sorry.
203, I believe.
203. So that's good value on our board. It's good value according to theirs, right? So
yeah,
we're good with it.
Yeah,
got to end this draft, man.
Yeah, we got to
Kendall play any center?
Yes, strictly center. Yep.
Okay,
yes,
cool. Let's draft him. Let's go.
Let's get this thing over with.
All right, now let's get our Kansas State and get out of here.
Damn, we're going to draft another offensive lineman.
Let's do it.
You're either taking Jason Marshall or Sean Dolak. Those are my 2 options.
I say you go Marshall or Dolak as well.
And Marshall's extremely low, right?
Hold on.
Sean's still 150.
Can we just take a peek at D-line one more time?
Yeah. But Thor's not there.
Nazir Stackhouse.
Let's see.
That Barrow is interesting as well.
Or
Barrow
Ahmed
Jr.
Hussein.
Hey, listen, Emilio been screaming for it. We're doing it. We're going Sean Dolak. D+. Hope you're happy, Emilio.
Yes.
It was funny though, because he will not shut up about Sean Dolak, and I'm like, bro, this guy ain't no good. And I listened to there was 2 or 3 podcasts in a row. People are like, look for Sean Dolak late in the draft. He's
going to look good carrying the water for Tyron Hopper.
2-0 for this says, should have listened to me on the Mockless Monday. Exactly. Oh, man.
I still think it's hilarious they had that guy in here trolling, and then we take his pick the second he
left.
Look at where Cam Ward went on this.
All right, so wow.
What?
Cam Ward, how did that happen? He dropped all the way to 8 to Carolina? Really?
I don't.
And they got Bryce Young. Shador Sanders went number 1 to Tennessee. That's definitely not happening. Jalen Walker, number 2 to Georgia. Travis Hunter, 3 to the Giants. Armand Mimbo, 4 to the Patriots. Mason Graham, 5 to the Jaguars. Ashton Gianti, 6 to the Raiders. Colston Loveland, 7 to the Jets. Cam Ward, 8 to the Panthers. Abdul Carter,
9th. What's happening?
Michael Williams to the Bears at 10. Me no like that. Kelvin Banks, 11 to the 49ers. Matthew Golden, 12 to the Cowboys. Y'all need to give Bates a refund. I'm going to get your $4 back to you, Bates, with interest. Will Campbell, 13 to the Dolphins. Jahad Campbell, 14 to the Colts. 15, Jahdae Barron to the Falcons. 16, Josh Simmons to the Cardinals. Bates says Timothy S. just threw his guinea pig. Comment of the night right there.
I don't think I've ever heard anything so randomly funny in my life.
Oh, my God. All right, so 17, Tyler Booker to the Bengals. Mike Green goes 18 to the Seahawks. Ty Warren, 19 to the Bucks. Luther Burden, 20 to the Broncos. Tet McMillan, 21 to the Steelers. Will Johnson, 22 to the Chargers. Nick Emenware, 23 to the Ravens. That's who they traded up with us to go get. Gray Zabel, 24 to the Vikings. Donovan Jackson, 25 to the Texans. Shamar Stewart, 26 to the Rams. Kenneth Grant, 27 to the Chiefs. That sucks.
That's
playing along Chris Jones. That's just crazy. Emeka Egbuka to the Lions. Maxwell Harris to the Commanders. Derek Harmon to the Bills at 30. And then we went James Pierce Jr. at 31. Malik Starks went 32 to the Eagles. So there you go. There it is. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to make sure everybody knows I had nothing to do with this money.
Go ahead and tweet this out, Clay.
Yeah, you tweeted.
We got my boy from Tulsa East at 87. That's all I care about. Let's go.
And we got Sean Dolak at least through August, right, Emilio? His ass ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it to September, I promise you.
Hey, but he's used to playing in the cold.
Yeah. Well, better be used to sitting on that bench, sir. Nah. Anyway, anything else, boys?
No, that's it.
No.
Best draft yet. What are you talking about?
You guys sound so defeated. It was your draft.
I thought it was a great draft. I really liked it.
He's Soder. None of that first round is happening.
None of it. I'm with you, Soder. Absolutely not. So, all right. That's it, guys. You wanted a mock draft, you got it. And I'm sure we lost subs, so I hope you're all happy. All right, so with that being said, we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. We're going to hit the Ty Felton Top 30 deep dive. You guys already, if you're in the Patreon group, you've already got all the top 30 visit articles in there. We also uploaded another Chalk Talk episode for you guys and gals. Scan the QR code in the upper right, send you to patreon.com/Packer fan total access. We're going to be giving away an autographed Sean Ryan rookie card coming up this Saturday, as well as a Bo Melton card coming up. Tim, Emilio, someone please help me. We've got to create that chat for the mock draft contest, guys. We're going to be doing a mock draft contest where everybody's going to do their own Green Bay Packer mock draft. We're going to have a chat set up where you just screenshot and post in there your mock draft. Everybody gets one entry, and we're going to be giving away an autographed piece of memorabilia to whoever wins that there on draft night. We'll be doing that giveaway. So anything else? We good?
All good.
And
great
again,
draft,
guys,
boys, great work. Great work.
Everybody go over to Dave Hooker's YouTube channel for the fact that he just took some time out of his busy day to hop on here and give us the intel on James Pierce Jr. Hopefully that kind of – I love that. I love that approach. Like, hey, this is a guy who covers the Vols. There's nothing there.
And who did we take in the first round of our mock tonight?
James Pierce Jr. And we tried to avoid it. Did we not?
Yeah.
We traded back. We kind of, not that we have anything against him. It's just, pretty cool. So rest of the draft sucked, though. That's it. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Everybody have a great night. Take care.
There we go.
Bye, guys.